Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're building something I think is incredibly useful, a practical framework for turning your professional goals into real, tangible impact. If you've ever wondered how to make your work truly count, you're in exactly the right place. Okay, let's get into it. So let's just start with a really direct question. Is your work making a difference? Really think about it. It's a question that can bring up a lot of anxiety for professionals. So many of us work incredibly hard, right? But it's not always clear if all that effort is actually translating into the influence or the change we really want to see. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with what's called the impact gap, then introduce a blueprint to fix it. We'll break down its 3 core pillars, show you how to build your own plan, talk about getting the right support, and finally, why you should see impact as a journey. First up, let's talk about this professional impact gap. This is that really frustrating space between working hard and actually making a difference. It's that feeling of being constantly busy, but failing to see any tangible results, or feeling like you have any real influence at all.
And this isn't some niche problem. The source material for this explainer makes it really clear that this is a universal challenge. It doesn't matter if you're a student just starting out or a senior leader with decades of experience under your belt, there is always room to improve your impact. The whole goal here is to move from just doing the work to strategically shaping its outcome.
So how do we bridge that gap? Well, the source material offers a solution, a blueprint for impact. It's formally known as the Personal Impact Development Plan, or PIDP for short. Think of it as a structured tool designed to help you create intentional change.
At its core, the PIDP is a concept that's been adapted from performance management research. It's really a concrete plan to identify your goals, pinpoint the skills you're going to need, and then track your progress over time. The key word here is purposeful.
And this quote from the source just drives that point home perfectly. Impact isn't accidental. It doesn't just happen. It's the result of purposeful planning and consistent execution. The PIDP gives you the framework for that plan.
So how is this plan actually structured? Well, the PIDP is built on 3 fundamental pillars. You can think of them as types of competencies that are absolutely essential for building your influence. Let's break them down.
So the first pillar is all about reflective competencies. This is the foundational internal work. See, before you can have an external impact, you have to look inward. You have to understand your motivation, your why, and your qualities, your unique strengths, and yes, your weaknesses. This is about establishing your North Star.
Tackling that motivation piece means asking this simple but powerful question. Who is my audience, and what are the core values driving me to influence them? Getting crystal clear on this is the absolute foundation of everything else.
And for the qualities part, it's all about honest self-assessment. Where are you strong, and where are the gaps in your skills? And look, this isn't about beating yourself up. It's about spotting those areas for growth. Okay, pillar number 2, communicative competencies. This one builds directly on the first. Once you've done that internal work, it's time to externalize your message. This means 2 things: networking to build relationships, and circulating your ideas to spread them far and wide. When it comes to networking, the question is pretty simple. Are you actively talking to the people you actually want to influence, or are you just operating in a silo? And as for circulating your impact, you have to ask yourself if you're sharing your work beyond your immediate circle. Are you using all the different channels available to you to reach a broader audience? The final pillar is behavioral competencies. This is where all that reflection and communication turns into real action. It's about proactively exploring opportunities and taking control of your own growth.
So, impact exploration asks, are you actively scanning your environment for new ways to contribute? Or are you just kind of waiting for opportunities to fall into your lap?
And impact control is all about owning your development. Are you deliberately learning the new skills that you know will increase your impact down the road?
Okay, so we've got our 3 pillars: reflective, communicative, and behavioral. Now let's get really practical and look at how you actually assemble these ideas into your own personal impact blueprint.
This right here, this is the actual template from the source material, and it's where reflection becomes a truly actionable plan. Just look at the columns. For each competency, you define an activity, you give it a time frame, you figure out the support you need, and you decide how you'll measure success. This is what turns a vague goal into a concrete project.
And you don't have to invent these activities from scratch. The source gives some great examples. You could arrange on-the-job training with a peer you really admire, or learn to assess if your work is ready for prescription,
which just means, is it practical and clear enough for other people to actually apply? Or maybe you could intentionally mix with the best to learn from top performers.
Now, a plan is only as good as the environment it exists in, right? A PIDP can't succeed in a vacuum. And that brings us to the external factors. Specifically, the huge role that leadership plays in making your plan a reality. The source actually outlines 6 key roles for leaders. It's a whole cycle of support. It starts with explaining requirements, then reviewing objectives, checking in on progress, removing barriers that get in the way, and offering consistent support throughout the whole process. This complete ecosystem is what lets a PIDP truly thrive.
The source also provides a really specific tool for leaders called the feed-forward interview. It's such a constructive approach because instead of dwelling on failures, it starts with a success story. From there, you uncover what made that success possible, and then you plan how to replicate those conditions for the future. It's brilliant.
Okay, let's bring it all together. You've got the pillars, you've got the template, and you understand the kind of support you need. But the final piece of this puzzle is realizing this isn't a one-and-done kind of exercise.
The core message here is that impact is a journey, not a destination. Your personal impact development plan isn't meant to be carved in stone. It's a living, breathing document that you should be revisiting and updating at least once a year, adjusting it as you grow and learn and achieve your goals.
So, we'll end with this question for you to take away. We've walked through the entire framework, the pillars, the tools. Now the only thing left to ask is, what will your impact blueprint look like?